Welcome back to study section 4 on HMB 301 Ruminant Animal Production. I will be taking you through on the topic management of breeding stock in sheep and goats. Introduction and effective production of sheep and goats for meat, hide and skin or milk is affected by the occurrence of desirable traits in the breeding stock and the management of the animal to sustain such traits in the flock. So improper handling or management of sheep and goats may spell doom for such productive enterprise. So at the end of this study section, you should be able to explain the management of ram and buck. You should be able to discuss the management of a female sheep and female goat. And lastly, you should be able to explain the management of lamb or kid. Let's talk about this learning outcome one after the other. Management of ram is very crucial to breeding and indeed the entire production of a sheep farm. If poorly cared for, it will make the ram to attain puberty at a prolonged age. Normally, if under intensive management system, a well-managed ram in terms of adequate feeding, watering, and health care attain puberty at about 6 months of age. So rams must be fed good mixture of grasses and legumes in addition to good concentrate. So the hooves must be adequately trimmed to prevent outgrowth and foot rot. Ram for breeding is kept in a separate pen or paddock, usually very close to the airway to stimulate sexual desire. So at puberty, sperm production of the ram is usually of low quality. Hence, more mature and older rams must be used for mating. So there is tendency to overuse the ram in an extensive system of production. However, the acceptable mating ratio of a ram to airway is between 1 to 20, that is ratio 1 to 20 or ratio 1 to 30. So excess rams on the farm not required for mating are mostly being castrated. So castrated rams are called weeder. Management of buck. Buck is a male goat. It attains the age of about 12 to 18 months before it is being used for mating. Even though it reaches puberty earlier than 12 months, it is not advisable to use for mating. So buck should be penned separately to prevent indiscriminate mating. It must be fed good quality grass and legumes and also be given good concentrates. A good buck can be used for breeding for a period of 4 to 6 years. The mating ratio in goats is similar to what obtains in sheep. So buck that do not be used for mating are usually castrated. So castrated bucks are called bullocks and fattened for meat. A female sheep is called ewe. It comes to puberty at about the age of 6 to 12 months, depending on adequate feeding and health care. When nutrition is poor, sheep comes to puberty at as late as about 20 months. Attainment of puberty has been shown to be related to the body weight of the animal and breed. So large breeds have been shown to reach puberty much later than small breeds. The moment an ewe is selected for breeding, it must be separated and not allowed to run with rams to avoid indiscriminate mating. Apart from nutrition, the reproductive life of sheep is also influenced by photoperiod or a day length of season, particularly in a temperate region. So conception rate in ewe can be increased by improving the quality of feed given to the animal, which is subsequently encourages ovulation, and this process is called flushing. A female sheep comes to eat from 6 months of age and thereafter it reoccurs at every 15 to 17 days. Consumption rate in ewe can be increased by improving the quality of feed given to the animal, which is subsequently encourages ovulation, and this process is called flushing. A female sheep comes to eat from 6 months of age and thereafter it reoccurs at every 15 to 17 days. So ewe must not be allowed for mating at the first ostrus. So ostrus last between 20 to 48 hours in sheep. The heat signs are similar to what you've learned for cattle. So management of a female goat or a doe. A female goat is called doe. It comes to puberty at about 6 months of age, giving good nutrition and good health care. Breeding in goats is also being affected by photoperiodism. A doe can be mated or serviced as from 12 months of age. It comes to estrus as from 6 months old, and the estrus lasts 24 to 36 hours every 18 to 21. A doe must not be allowed for mating at first estrus. Conception rate can be increased by flushing the doe as for the sheep. So the heat signs are similar to what you've learned for cattle. After mating, the ewe or doe must be separated from the flock and kept in individual pen or monitored to ensure safety to prevent abortion. The ram or buck must not be allowed to run with females again if on pasture. They must be grazed on separate paddock. Ewes or does must be well fed with good grass legume mixtures with minerals and supplements in form of block multinutrients if available. Concentrate at about 200 to 600 grams per day, but be given towards the latter part of their pregnancy, that is 6 to 8 weeks, to provide extra nutrients for the developing fetus. So the gestation period of an ewe is about 140 to 150 days, that is 21 to 22 weeks, which is similar to that of a doe. On the average, the gestation period in sheep and goat is about 5 months. With this, it is possible for an ewe or doe to give birth at least once a year or thrice in 2 years. So the act of giving birth in sheep is called lambing, while it is called kidding in goats. Ewes and does demonstrate essentially the same characteristics when giving birth, and the act of giving birth in sheep is called lambing, while in goats it is being called kidding. So towards the end of the pregnancy, the udder of the animal swells and becomes larger. The doe and ewe becomes restless, and there is hollow appearance on the flank region of their loin. Some watery discharge that is opaque and yellowish is observed from the vulva, and animal chooses a secluded place to give birth. Maturation process is completed within 2 hours. The dam cleans up the lamb or kid by licking the mucus from the body and stimulates the lungs to respirate in some cases. The young animal after some time begin to show signs of hunger and thereafter suck the dams. Towards the end of pregnancy, the udder of the animal swells and becomes larger. The ewe or doe becomes restless, and there is hollow appearance on the flank region of the loin. Some watery discharge that is opaque and yellowish is observed from the vulva, and the animal chooses a secluded place to give birth. Parturition process is completed within 2 hours. The dam cleans up the lamb or kid by licking the mucus from the body and stimulates the lungs to respire in some cases. So the young animal after some time begins to show signs of hunger, thereafter sucks the dam. Management of lamb or kid. The lamb or kid depends on the dam's milk for the earlier part of its lives and begins to gnaw on grasses or forage and from about 3 weeks of age, which helps stimulate the rumen. The young animals can be allowed to creep diets or grazing. Is a design where young animals have access to good quality feed, usually concentrates, through small openings not big enough to allow the dam to eat it up. So the lamb or kids are weaned at about 6 to 8 weeks after birth. Weaning at about 6 weeks is called early weaning, At this stage, the animals are being separated. Those for breeding are separated from those for fattening, maintained as growers. After the separation of the breeding stock, the remaining animals may be categorized either as fatteners or growers. Fatteners are often given bulk feeding to assist in fast weight for slaughtering. They are usually kept in a pen or restricted paddocks. I hope you've learned one or two things from this video section. You can read more in your study materials for more explanation. Join me for the next study section. Thank you for listening.